Hey everyone, Monty G here. Last night I was able to go to a special screening of DCEU's latest superhero film, Aquaman. And for those who are new to my channel, yes, I am the Horror Miser Monty G and I do horror reviews, but I actually review horror movies and do other horror related things, but I also review what I call my most anticipated movies of the year. And if they're non-horror related, I give what I call my thoughts on, and here are my thoughts on Aquaman. Now, Aquaman is a 2018 American superhero film based upon the DC character of the same name. This is the sixth installment of the DCEU, better known as the DC Extended Universe. This is directed by James Wan, who we all know is mainly known for horror pictures. This was written by a screenplay by David Leslie Johnson McCormick and Will Beal. From a story from Jeff Johns, Wan, and Beal. It stars Jason Momoa, Amber Heard, William Dafoe, Patrick Wilson. I might mess this guy's name up. Yaha Abdul Mateen II, and Nicole Kidman. Now, it's pretty interesting that Aquaman finally has gotten his own film. Now, we have seen Aquaman before in the silver screen. He made a brief appearance in Batman v Superman, and of course, he had a starring role in Justice League a couple years ago, all played by Jason Momoa. Now, most people probably don't remember Aquaman from the comics. Most people's familiarity with the character has been on the cartoon from the Filmation production team back in the late 60s, early 70s, something I grew up watching on, or of course, obviously from the Super Friends and other variations of the Super Friends, and he's always been considered a weak character as far as the non-people who don't read his comic books are concerned. But Aquaman is no pushover, and hopefully maybe this film will give him the justice he deserves. So here are my thoughts on Aquaman. Now, the overall premise, it might sound a bit hokey, because it really is. Arthur Curry, aka better known as the Aquaman, goes on a mission to find the lost trident of his ancestor, King Atlan, before his half-brother Orm reunites the seven kingdoms of the seas and wage war against the surface world. And that's basically the whole plot of the movie. Yeah, it sounds a bit hokey. It sounds a bit hokey. That's basically the bottom line, basically way you can explain the plot of this movie. Overall, my thoughts on the film, this is an incredibly fantastic, well-made, and very, very excellent movie that James Wan and the filmmakers have created. One is definitely a change of tone that we've seen from most of the movies in the DCEU. They're all dark and dingy and full of less hope. All the films within the DCEU are that way, but this one is much lighter. It's bubbly, it's joyfully. The story is more funnier. We have a lot of witty lines, especially from Jason Momoa. He's very good as Aquaman, but that's one of the great things about this movie is the lighter tone. But what really makes this movie fantastic is its visuals. Man, this film is excellent to look at. I really haven't seen a film look this good since Avatar, and that's saying something. Now, as I stated before, you wouldn't expect of a man who's basically known for horror to create a visually stunning film. I mean, don't get me wrong, James Wan is very good at crafting very dark imagery, especially in his horror films, whether it's The Conjuring or Insidious. He knows how to create tension and suspense and fear, how he incorporates his lighting and his darkness in his horror pictures. Here's the great opposite. He uses color very well in his scenes, especially when we get to Atlantis. He does a very good job in using color. We have lots of bright colors throughout the film, especially when we get to Atlantis. The opening scene, when we get to the entrance of Atlantis, almost looks similar to the Rainbow Bridge or the Bifrost in Asgard. And the whole entire Atlantis scene looks very brightful. It looks colorful. Like I said, it's almost similar to like Avatar. It's like what Avatar would look if Avatar was an underwater film. And that just, it's just great how he uses the color schemes. It's so beautifully to look at. I want to go back and look at it again because it's so well made of what Wan did with the look of Atlantis. The action scenes or the fighting scenes are very well made. I mean, it was like there's a couple of fight scenes that uses a, it looks like it's more like as a one take shot, and how the camera moves around and flows through the action. It's very well done. It's well paced. It's no jump edit cuts where we go it bop hit and nothing like that. It flows very well good, and I like how Juan did the fighting scenes. There are two of them that are like that, but all the fighting scenes, all the action scenes are very well crafted and very well done. And I stated before, the design and how he designs Atlantis is very well done. There's a scene in the beginning where we meet Orin, and I think it's King Mermis, played by Dolph Lundgren. Even the buildings, even though they look decrepit, it's still visually good to look at. He captures sea life very well. Very well. The look of animals, even though you know it's all CGI, but it looks very well. It doesn't look phony or fake. Now, how all the underwater scenes are filmed, they're filmed fantastic. I mean, he does a good job in making sure that the underwater scenes are not dark and dingy. They're full of bright colors. So you use this little gray that shines off against buildings that, even though they've been waterlogged and destroyed, the use of the gray looks, if in the backgrounds, is fascinating, mixed with seaweed and water corrosion, but everything still looks fine, so we can so everyone can see the action. Even the battle scenes in underwater are well done as well. We have an excellent fight scene between Arthur and Orm, probably around the second act of the film, and they do excellent camera work, and they take full advantage of using the water scenes in that particular battle between them. The fight scenes are very well choreographed, and once again, there's no quick edits. The fighting scenes flow very well. Even the fighting scenes on land are done very well. I mean, one has really done a fantastic job here. Of that fight scene that takes place between Black Manta and Aquaman or Arthur. I mean, that's a very brutal fight. Those two really go after each other. It's very well choreographed, and you have to give the actors and the stuntmen credible. It looks very well flowed together. I even like the fight scenes that Amber Heard does. As her red lock hair is flowing away, almost kind of reminded me that was like Becky Lynch instead of Amber Heard with that red hair. A minute there goes Becky. Oh no, wait a minute, it's Amber Heard. But yeah, the land fight scenes and the underwater scenes are very well crafted, very well made, very well made. This is a very incredible film. I think if push comes to shove, people will say that James Wan has saved the DCEU. So let's talk about the story. The story is very well written. I like how they begin and they show Black Manta. David Green, I believe, is his name, if I'm not mistaken. They give him a nice way to show what makes him hate Aquaman or Arthur Curry so much. And I don't want to mess up his name again. Yada Abu Mateen. He really emotes his anger. You can see the anger in his expression that the only thing he wants to do is to get back and get his revenge against Aquaman. He doesn't care about money. He doesn't care about anything. And it's more faithful to the source material. And I also like the design that they gave Black Manta. He doesn't look like he has a fishbowl on his head with eyelets. They incorporate a suit very well. I like the fact that he's not just a thug. He's very smart. Like I said, it pays more close to the source material to Black Manta. So I like that aspect of the story. Now, obviously, Jason Momoa, he's brilliant in this movie right here. He's come a long way since Game of Thrones, if I believe he was in Game of Thrones. And, of course, really makes up for that awful movie, Conan the Barbarian, that they tried to reboot. Now, I don't know if that was his fault or not, but he really does a good job here. He gives Arthur Curry Aquaman a lot of range. He's funny and witty and playful at first when he wants to be serious. And very, I guess, not say hateful, but disappointed, mainly because he wants to know why his mother never came back. And when he eventually finds out that his mother was killed, supposedly killed by the Atlanteans, he wants nothing to do with them. But he still wants to do the right thing. And that's basically what Momoa gives Aquaman. Like I said, he's witty, he's funny, he's serious. He wants to do the right thing, and he realizes that he's the bridge between the two worlds, even though he himself doesn't believe he's ready to be king of Atlantis. One good thing I did like about this picture is the flashbacks that we see when Vulcan, I believe this was his name, played by William Dafoe as his mentor teacher, as he teaches Arthur his Atlantean ways of how fast they can swim, how his eyes adjust to darkness, and how they can survive the water pressure. I love those scenes. The film doesn't bog down to that one. We get uh, quick flashes at certain points, certain aspects of the film, which are placed very well. Which it sort of advances storyline because it's like, hey, look, just because he's half Atlantean doesn't mean he doesn't know how to use his powers yet. And so the film does a good job of showing how he learned how to use his powers, how to swim, and also how to fight. And I thought William Dafoe did a great job being the mentor teacher of Arthur. Patrick Wilson playing against type here. I thought he was pretty good as Orm or Ocean Master. For those who don't know, Ocean Master is he is a comic book character. He comes out from the comic books. I like his Ocean Master costume is right stripped from the comics. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's part of the Throne of Atlantis or the Fight of the Atlantis storyline that Jeff Johns wrote. I'm not sure about that. If I'm wrong, correct me, please, at the description below, at the comments below. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. But that's where he definitely gets his costume from. But I like how he plays him. He's not a twisty, twirly, I'm going to destroy the world villain right here. He's just regal. He believes what he's doing what's right because he believes this is what he's going to do to save his people. And he will stoop to, how can I put this? Stoop to murder in order to get his way. In his way. Now, he does it a little bit over the top sometimes throughout the picture, but he's fine. We know his motivations are very well, so he's a very good villain here. And I like how he and Arthur play off against each other, especially during their fight scenes. Amber Heard, she's actually pretty good as Mera here. She's determined. She's not the simple damsel in distress, which I'm glad that she is not in this film. She holds her on. She's a very capable fighter. She's determined to not only to save her people, but to save the surface world as well, even though she really doesn't like them. There are some funny scenes, and I believe during the middle of the second act, because it is her first time in the surface world, and I like her interactions about not knowing the customs of not knowing what to do. I thought was kind of funny. How she did that. And I'm glad the movie did show that particular aspect of her character. I also like her water powers too. They're somewhat similar to what the Filmation's Aquaman cartoon has, but a little bit more fancier displayed here. And particularly everyone's good. I like Nicole Kidman as Queen, and I think her name is Atlanta. I think that's what it is. She's pretty good. She's a determined woman who wants to do the right. She escapes an arranged marriage. She falls in love with Arthur's father, which I thought he did a good job right there. And she sacrificed a lot in order to keep them safe, and she does a pretty good job here as well. Particularly everyone does a good job. There's really not much as far as story-wise and acting-wise when it comes to this film. But this film does have flaws. And the flaws comes with the third act. Oh, God. I don't know what they were thinking when they came to this third act, because it looks like they pulled it right from those sea battles that I saw back in the Filmation Aquaman cartoon. It looks very overdone, not very believable. A lot of CGI, unbelievable water creatures. Excuse me. A lot of unbelievable water creatures. Just like I said, just looked like it just came right from that cartoon that I saw, because you see those same undersea battles that they had, and it just didn't look real. Kind of looked phony. And let's talk about that creature, the Kraken. I believe that's what it's called. I don't know who designed that one, but I would say it looks ripped off right from the Alien Queen and Aliens. It looks like an oversized version of that creature design, and I felt it was kind of unnecessary to add that to the picture. It brought nothing to the movie at all. That final scene didn't do anything to the movie at all. However, it is safe with the final battle scene, which I thought was very well done. It kind of closed out the movie the way it should close out. But yeah, that battle scene, I don't know what they were thinking. I understand why, but it kind of draws the film out too long. And I could see other people's points about that, but come on, guys, that was unnecessary. So, despite that third act and despite some other flaws, this was a very exciting and very well made picture. I believe this is the second best picture in the ECU since Wonder Woman. And with Wonder Woman coming out, Wonder Woman 1984 coming out next year, I believe that there is still some hope for the DCEU. They now know that they don't have to continue to have dark, gritty, and liftless movies now. They can actually pull a page from the Marvel universe, Marvel Cinematic Universe, and do something like this. As long as they continue to do something like that, there's still hope for the DCEU. And hopefully they learn from their mistakes and not rush their projects on and take their time and build characters like they did with Aquaman and like they did with Wonder Woman. So if I were you, I would highly recommend seeing Aquaman when it actually hits theaters next Friday. I know it's made a ton of money already. I think it's already surpassed Wonder Woman because I know it opened overseas. I think it made over 250 million overseas, as they haven't even come out here as far as North America is concerned. Like I said, I saw a special screening of it last night, and I highly recommend you guys go see it. Now, if you're one of the people that will actually be able to see Aquaman like I did, what do you think about it? Did you think that this is the second best, or some people believe it's even better than Wonder Woman? Leave your comments down in your comment section below and tell me what you thought about Aquaman. So that's my video for today, guys. And if you did love this video and you enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up because it does help the channel out a lot. And once again, if this is your first time here, please hit that subscriber button and ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime when I put up new material or new videos on my channel. Now, of course, as always, I always normally end off with horror rules, and I'm the Horror Miser Monty G, but since this is not a horror picture, I do not end off that way. But I will thank you guys for watching this video, and stay tuned. I will have other videos coming up this week, and of course, I will have my top 10 horror movies of 2018. I'll get this right. I will have my top 10 top horror pictures of 2018. Probably, I would say either this week or next week. I'm still working on that one. And of course, my top 5 worst horror pictures of 2018 coming up soon. So I will see you guys later. I thank you very much for watching. I'm out.